Shalom, family. Glory be to God and blessed be the Lamb. Let's have a moment of silence of the dead combatants, caught up in the foolish whims of man and civilians. Peoples that would benefit, or seemingly would benefit, is the very one who have instigated it for the last 2 years. They may call it the war on the Palestinians or Hamas, the war on Iran, which is alteration of the Gulf states to contracts and obligations advantageous to the West. It's nothing more than that. Also, one would think here. But before we get to that, you know, this country is obviously under attack on multiple levels from the inside, domestically. We're going to see if we can connect the dots. Maybe. It can get a little in the weeds. But America is under attack. Okay? America is fighting wars that it has no interest in actually fighting. How did we get here? Well, first of all, the America leading up to the Iraq War, they decided that they didn't need a war declaration or the support of the people. So that war powers was removed, and it was removed to the executive office or the executive branch. Now, for the last 15 years or 20 years, you can go to war just by fiat. No one has to say anything. The king can wake up in the morning and decide that we're going to war. Oftentimes, buttressed by a fellow named Paul Wolfowitz. All of these guys are still known. Some of the acting people were also people like Dick Cheney, Darth Vader. Anyway, if you wasn't there, you missed it. And what were they talking about? What was their big deal in the 80s, in the late 80s? They were literally laying out plans to start wars in the Middle East, like there are now. So imagine deciding to use another country's resources to start wars to your benefit because you want to expand into a greater landmass, as if the world is still in the old colonizing spirit, the imperialistic spirit. But anyway, imagine a bunch of they've gotten what they wanted, and where has it led? Now, this organization, the American Enterprise Institute, herein known as the AEI, has been disbanded for the better part of 20 years. All of them who had planned all of this walks around today except Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney met his untimely demise some years back. Black heart in his chest or not. At any rate, this is what's going on. And it's hard to use the word country. It's hard to use the word government. It's hard to use the word system and institutions. once you really look at it. I mean, it is one of systems and institutions, but not like you would think. But anyway, a group of men at the behest of another government and its spy agency and its agendas and its plans have gotten you into war after war after war. And by you, America, war after war after war after war after war after war. Some of these wars are unweighing not the United States, but them other people whose name we don't dare speak. I want this one to get through, so we shall be using the term Israel as a pronoun and verb and adjective. And anyway, anyway, they go into wars and they talk of things like exit plans, but they never pause. Credibility and plausibility has been squandered. And I don't know what they mean by exit plan. To me, if you want to end the war, you simply stop shooting and go home. And that's the tail wagging the dog. It's the tail wagging the dog. Okay? And because of this need for an exit plan, which I still don't fully understand. I mean, I've never heard other countries speak in terms of exit plans. They just simply look at how much damage has been done. Did we take the capital? Are they still shooting at us as much as they were? Are they coming to some kind of understanding? Something happens. But in the West, particularly the United States, to end the war, nothing but political. And as soon as I know that I'm jumping from one place to the other, but I'm still in the general area. Here's what they have removed from you when they removed the power from you, the people, and gave it to the executive office. They removed the right from you to see what's going on. See? You look at the video, I look at the video, and we see what is the equivalent of carnage. It's not something that you willfully experience, but apparently others are willing to order and to battle others, even in wars of choice, which this is. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't about the current administration because at this point, this game really began. This game really began a long time ago, 40, 50s. You did it. I would love to know how they spoken with each other in all these years, 20 plus years. Have they stayed in touch? And do they understand that every plan, every country, almost in order of their own layout, have been attacked and overthrown, and its political and sociological evolutions forever altered by these 3 to 5 men. One of them dead. We hope. Sorry, Dick. No need to have you around this motherfucker twice. Their faces have been seen by billions and millions of eyeballs. They were probably sitting at their beautiful white at a table sipping wine with their most lovely wives. And now that they feel insulted and the social order has erupted into some kind of protective moment. No, they're just like anyone else. Okay? Now, I'm just saying, the point of the matter is, no one's trying to hang this around their neck. They should be proud. Be calling him Richard. Okay? And I have not castigated them. They should be proud. Now, back to what I was saying about this country being outmaneuvered from the inside out. Not just outmaneuvered over the last 50 years, but under considerable attack from the inside out, domestically. Considerable. Can you imagine a situation where one culturally connected group of people, oh, hold on, that's unfair. And in those positions, it's real simple. America wants to act as though it's not what it is. Well, we're going to face the fucking reality. Yes, you are what you are. Everything that they said you did, you actually did do. You actually did do it across the world. This is the fucking reality. So, a bunch of old men, let's keep it clean. A bunch of old men should not have a such thin skin that they're insulted by the work of their own hands or the honest description of it. No attack, socio political attack, sociological and political attack, and it's been been that way for the better part of 30, 30 of 30 or 40 years. Very active, very active. Okay, it is a plan that moves slowly over decades. It's like watching a fungus grow. It's like watching a fungus grow. Okay, and it creeps. It laws and regulations that give money power over people in terms of obligation. They're more obligated to the money than they are the very people that they serve. And time after time, you will find these guys on some kind of nefarious situation or the other, all looking like each other. All looking like each other. Nefarious. Nefarious. It's funny. It's funny. And what would be the proper set of metrics that would lead to, okay, we can call this whatever we want to and get the hell up out of here. My way of getting out of a shooting match is going to be to stop shooting. As long as I'm not hit, I get to decide when at least my half of the bullets stop. Okay, shit. It's plain and simple. But here, there's no exit plan. And not only that, and I know that I'm drifting from one to the other, no way around actually not talking about something. And that's been a big part of the issue, especially on the socio-political side of it. They have controlled entire narratives. Even now, the mind is filled with AI. We don't know what's real, what ain't anymore. You think people are dead. Next you see them running. Next you next you hear weirded out tales of he was spotted in Berlin. I'm like, when? In Berlin? What the hell is he doing in Berlin? He has not a friend there. He wasn't spotted in fucking Berlin. Messenger. Please. The worst thing that you want to do is to shoot the general and then send me the body. I mean, god damn. The worst thing that you want to do is to shoot at the very negotiators who you're negotiating with. And through this, at any rate, America is in trouble. Okay? Hey, shit. On the social, the political side, on the spiritual side, and everyone here is in the middle of it. And the people, you could end up having to fight them and what attacks them. Strange situation with many possibilities. All while that's going on, the spiritual aspect of it haven't even been touched on. Satan is real, and Satan walks freely. He walks freely and he walks amongst us as I speak. Okay, along with his many spirits, demons, jinn, mankind. Think about that at every level, every level. And the more distant a culture is from a reality or the only reality of the God consciousness, the more susceptible as a country and as individuals they are to other consciousness. If you know what I mean, the takeover. Okay, so that's just one variable. That's one. It's it is indeed a spiritual quagmire. A spiritual quagmire. One comes to destroy. Let me rephrase that. Four come to destroy. One, one comes to destroy and to recreate. One comes to change the consciousness of man to what it was meant to be. All the while wrapped up in the midst of a very real, I am glad I have AI that's going to cut all of that out. But at any rate, this is the complexity of it. And there's no way out. There is no way out. I hate hearing myself say that. I do. But I'm pretty sure that there's no way out. I don't think there's a way. I mean, man, there's just so much damage that already been done to infrastructure. So where do we start if you were me? Well, like I said earlier, what is America? I'm trying to figure this out because you kind of figure out where to throw the first punch at here. You can't just start swinging wildly. You have to first figure out who is attacking, what is attacking, and then how, and then come up with a strategy, a viable strategy, which is where we are now. We know what, see, this is what has to happen. But for us, it's a different situation. And for those who believe, it's a different situation. And for those who are chosen, it's a different situation. And it's all wrapped up in one big story, one long running story. You know, at this point of America almost looks like a long running. I'm not going to do that. Let's just call it a drama. It's a drama. But to look at the bright side, I have to finish the job. So, welcome to phase 2. Good luck. As of now, there's no way for me into that situation without causing more harm than is necessary to God's agenda. Okay? But for you, on the other hand, congratulations. You pulled the thread and the whole ball came apart. And now you see things as they are. And now you see things as they are. You see? Players to the highest players, the organizations. And when I use the term organization, I mean the organization, as in the truest definition of the word, the organization of it all. It's massive and old, both massive and old, but doable. And it goes back longer than you would ever think. everything. So while we figure out what strategy we're gonna use, I'm Source, I'm Seven, I'm One.